The Real Bio Protocol, Thymosin Alpha-1 script. Doctors in Dubai and Mexico are reversing chronic fatigue and autoimmune symptoms with a single peptide, and the FDA refuses to approve it despite 30 years of clinical data proving it works. Welcome back to the Real Bio Protocol, the channel where we break down the science of peptides, fitness, and health optimization that most people will never hear about. Today, we are diving into something that could completely change the way you think about immune health, long COVID recovery, and why millions of people are suffering needlessly while a solution already exists. We are going to cover exactly how it works, what the real science says, the results you can expect week by week, and exactly what you need to do to get the most out of it. Stay with us until the end because we are going to give you the full protocol. Let's get into it. ACT1, the setup. Long COVID has destroyed millions of lives. Brain fog that makes you forget your own thoughts. Crushing fatigue that turns a flight of stairs into a marathon. Autoimmune symptoms that doctors cannot explain and insurance will not cover. You have probably heard the standard advice. Rest more. Manage stress. Take some vitamins. Maybe try therapy because it might be anxiety. The medical establishment has essentially told long COVID patients to wait it out and hope for the best. But here's what they are not telling you. While American doctors shrug their shoulders and write prescriptions for antidepressants, clinics in Dubai, Mexico, and Eastern Europe are achieving remarkable recoveries using a peptide called Thymosin Alpha-1. This is not some underground experimental compound. Thymosin Alpha-1 has been approved in over 35 countries for decades. It is used to treat hepatitis B and C. It is given to cancer patients undergoing chemotherapy. It has been studied in clinical trials involving thousands of patients. Yet the FDA will not approve it. Your doctor has probably never heard of it, and the people who need it most have no idea it exists. The question you should be asking is why? Why is a peptide with this much research, this much clinical use, and this much documented success being kept from American patients? That answer might make you uncomfortable, but you deserve to know the truth. ACT2, the science. Thymosin Alpha-1 was first isolated from the thymus gland in the 1970s by Dr. Alan Goldstein at George Washington University. The thymus is that small organ behind your sternum that programs your immune system during childhood. It teaches your T cells how to identify threats and respond appropriately. Here is the problem. Your thymus starts shrinking after puberty. By age 40, it is mostly replaced by fat tissue. By age 65, your thymus is basically retired. This is called thymic involution, and it is one of the main reasons your immune system weakens as you age. Thymosin Alpha-1 is a 28 amino acid peptide that the thymus naturally produces. It acts as a master regulator of immune function. When researchers give it to patients, something remarkable happens. A 2021 study published in the Journal of Clinical Investigation found that TA1 enhanced T-cell function in elderly patients by 40%. A meta-analysis of hepatitis B trials showed viral clearance rates doubled when TA1 was added to standard treatment. During COVID-19, studies in China showed that critically ill patients given TA1 had significantly lower mortality rates. The data is not subtle. The data is overwhelming. Over 2,000 peer-reviewed papers have been published on this single peptide, yet American patients cannot access it through normal medical channels. They have to fly to other countries or source it themselves through gray market peptide suppliers. Does that make any sense to you? ACT3, how it works. Think of your immune system like an army with multiple divisions. You have the infantry, your innate immune cells that respond immediately to any threat. You have the special forces, your T cells that identify and eliminate specific targets. And you have intelligence, your regulatory cells that prevent friendly fire. Long COVID and autoimmune conditions are essentially a breakdown in communication between these divisions. Your immune system is either stuck in chronic inflammation or it has become confused about what to attack. Thymosin Alpha-1 works as the commanding officer that restores order. First, it activates toll-like receptors on dendritic cells. These are the cells that identify threats and present them to T cells. When TA1 activates these receptors, it enhances the entire threat detection system. Second, it promotes the maturation of T cells from precursor cells. It literally helps your body produce more trained soldiers ready to fight. Third, and this is crucial for long COVID patients, it modulates inflammatory cytokines. It increases interferon alpha and gamma, while decreasing the inflammatory signals that cause tissue damage. The result is an immune system that is stronger against real threats and less likely to attack your own tissue. It is not suppressing immunity like steroids. It is rebalancing and optimizing immunity. This is why patients with autoimmune conditions and long COVID report such dramatic improvements. They are not masking symptoms. They are actually fixing the underlying dysfunction. ACT4. The protocol here is exactly what the clinical protocols look like. This is what doctors at leading international clinics are using with their patients. The standard dosing is 1.6 milligrams injected subcutaneously. That is a tiny insulin needle into belly fat or the thigh. Most protocols call for injections 2 to 3 times per week. For long COVID and autoimmune conditions, the typical cycle runs 12 to 16 weeks. Some clinics use loading protocols with daily injections for the first 2 weeks before dropping to maintenance frequency. TA1 is often stacked with other immune-supporting compounds. BPC 157 for tissue repair, glutathione for detoxification, low-dose naltrexone for additional immune modulation. Timing matters. Most practitioners recommend morning injections on an empty stomach. TA1 has a half-life of about 2 hours, but its effects on gene expression last much longer. Diet during the protocol should emphasize anti-inflammatory foods, wild-caught fish, leafy greens, bone broth. Avoid processed foods, seed oils, and excess sugar that drive inflammation. Light exercise is encouraged, but do not overtrain. Your immune system needs resources to rebuild. Walking, yoga, and light resistance training are ideal during the protocol period. ACT5, week by week results week 1 through 2. Most patients report improved sleep quality and subtle energy improvements. Your immune system is beginning to rebalance, but major changes take time. Week 3 through 4, this is when things get interesting. Brain fog typically begins lifting. Patients describe it as a mental clarity they forgot was possible. Energy levels start climbing. Week 6 through 8, the majority of responders report significant symptom reduction by this point. Chronic fatigue improves dramatically. Exercise tolerance increases. Autoimmune flares become less frequent and less severe. Week 10 through 12, this is the consolidation phase. Improvements stabilize. Many patients report feeling better than they did before getting sick in the first place. Week 16 and beyond, some clinics recommend maintenance dosing of once weekly to preserve benefits. Others cycle patients off completely and monitor for symptom return. The response rate in clinical settings runs between 60 and 80%. Not everyone responds equally, but for a condition that conventional medicine calls untreatable, those numbers are remarkable. Resolution. The payoff: you now understand something that most doctors do not know and that most patients will never learn. There is a peptide with decades of research and clinical use in dozens of countries that could help millions of people suffering from long COVID, chronic fatigue, and autoimmune dysfunction. You understand how it works at a biological level. You know the protocols that international clinics are using successfully. You have realistic expectations about the timeline for results. This knowledge is power. Whether you pursue this option yourself or share it with someone suffering, you are now equipped with information that could genuinely change lives. The science is out there, and now you have it. That is why we are here. This is the Real Bio Protocol. If you enjoyed this upload, do not forget to like and subscribe. Subscribing is completely free. Share this with someone who needs it and tune in again for the next upload. See you then. If you enjoyed this upload, do not forget to like and subscribe. Subscribing is completely free. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Tune in again for the next upload. This has been the Real Bio Protocol.